But what makes it so good? I mean, surely it's just barley, malt, water, yeast. And yet it's got a kind of magic to it. Thing is, we chemical engineers, we don't really believe in magic. So what makes it so good? Hello, I'm James Doran, and if I was successful in being your 2018 graduate distiller, I'd embrace the chance to answer that question, and hopefully add myself to that list of vital ingredients. With a bit of luck, and starting with this video, I'll be able to do it sine meti. Originally from County Down in Northern Ireland, I went abroad for my education. I'm about to go into my 5th year of chemical engineering at the University of Bath. Believe it or not, your brand had a big role to play in that time. Starting from our first year, where we did chemical engineering principles, we learnt our azeotropes from our zeolites and looked at the design and science behind the column stills that can help make your grain whisky so smooth. Meanwhile, our nights were spent on a slightly more practical application of that lesson. It was hard work, but it was a labour of love. It wasn't until my placement year, though, that I got to the grips of the ins and outs of alcohol production on a mass scale. I work for Molson Coors in Burton Brewery, the parent company of Franciscan Well. I'm led to believe that your two companies are well acquainted, some might even say mates. With such a lucrative partnership, I can only imagine that the pride and the passion that I loved in that company is transferable over to Jameson's. There I worked on process improvement and supported the 70 million container a year canning line. I helped save £50,000 sterling by reducing can and beer loss. I identified and eliminated a microbial infection of the pre-pasteurised product, and I supported a cross-functional team that saw consumer complaints of small pack products drop by 0.3 parts per million units sold. Sure, it was thirsty work, but I never shied away from mashing in. I also tried to use the time to set myself up for a career in the alcohol industry in general. It was identified by me and some others that communication to large groups was a particular weakness, so I tried to jump on opportunities like presenting to the European supply chain directors about a potential cost saving and trying to convince the 100 plus members of canning at one time to focus not just on the volume of beer out the door, but on the quality of the product. I managed to join the Institute of Brewers and Distillers and passed their General Certificate in Packaging Beer can division, and also applied some Lean Six Sigma tools to one of my projects and was able to obtain the Six Sigma Yellow Belt. All work and no play does make for a dull life though, so outside of work I try to fear a bit less and live a bit more through running, rock climbing and sailing, all with varying degrees of success. I'm not one to let an opportunity slip by though, and over the last few years I've managed to use these excursions to raise about £1.5 grand for some various charities. So that's me, in a nutshell. Thank you so much for taking the time to review my application. I'm still young, probably still a bit naive, but I think Jameson's knows a thing or two about maturation. So hopefully we can make whiskey and maybe even history together. Cheers. Yeah, that's good. That is good. You're interested. Right, give me 1 second, because I've forgotten mine. Clap. Clap. Give a clap. Yeah, nice. That's not about that, don't worry. Right, you good to go? Whenever ready. Give us a clap. Delicious.